What's up, everybody? This is Tucker coming at you today for some Monday motivation. I don't know about you, but I could always use a little bit more motivation. And these past few weeks, I have felt not just physically sick, also just feeling really slow and lethargic, and frankly, kind of depressed. So I put on my shoes, stretched the legs a little bit, and was brainstorming, ruminating on some things that I have been implementing over the past few days to help get me out of this funk. So I'm gonna go have a shower, clean up, and change. In this video, I have 5 quick tips for you that I utilize in my life that help me overcome depression. Even when I'm feeling low and in a funk, they get me out running again, putting one foot in front of the other. And we're back, fresh, clean. What's up, everybody? If this is your first time, if it's your 100th time, thank you for dropping in. Welcome. This channel is a space for all ultra running and adventure travel for any ambitious amateur, maybe like yourself, because that's what I am. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm compiling all my experience, my knowledge, whatever tips I come across, and sharing them with you. Hopefully you'll find some inspiration. And today, maybe some motivation, because it is Motivation Monday. My hope is that you'll be able to find something out of this to motivate yourself, because I can't motivate you. I can only inspire. And that's what I do for myself. I try and motivate myself. I look to friends like you. I watch videos, I read books, I watch movies, listen to music, podcasts, whatever it is. I look to that for inspiration because I'm the one who has to motivate myself. So that's what this is on Monday. Why I got out there this evening, went all the way up to Cold Spring, because I feel like I needed a shot of motivation to really pull myself off my butt and on my feet. So in this video, I have for you 5 tips to overcome depression, to get out of that funk, put your shoes on, get running again, putting one foot in front of the other. I feel like there's fuzzies in the air, so if you see them wafting across the screen, forgive me. I don't know where they're coming from. I guess this is whatever. Let's get into it. Step 1, reinforce your habits. Now, I'm assuming that you have habits, whether you try to or not, whether you plan for them or not. We all have habits in our life. And when I am feeling in a funk and I feel like I can't get up, it's probably a good sign that my habits are off. That maybe I let some air out of my tires and my car is not moving as smooth as I'd like. And it's usually a good indicator that things can be a little off when I'm not living in the fullness of my habits. Reinforcing my habits, it gives me a chance to sit back and look at my habits of action in my life. There's a book by James Clear, Atomic Habits. Really great book. I'll leave a link below if you haven't read it. What he calls habits in his book are actually just purposeful actions in your life. It's intentional actions that you structure your life upon. Habits can actually be really bad things. If we are doing things unknowingly, then they can be unhealthy habits. And we all know when we have unhealthy habits. We all know what they are too. His thoughts of purposeful action are the things that we get to structure our life that bring our life purpose. It's the things that we actually say, I am purposefully choosing to do this and taking action on it. And that's all sorts of things. Setting an alarm to wake up early so that you can get out there for a morning jog before work. And as you do that repeatedly, that becomes habitual. It becomes a purposeful action of consistency in your life. And maybe you're like me, but often when I'm feeling down and in the dumps, those purposeful actions that bring my life value, that are benefits to my life, often start going the way of the dodo. They just start disappearing, and I let go of the pressure on them. And those good habits oftentimes become bad habits. And that's okay. Sometimes that just happens. Giving yourself a little bit of grace for it goes a long way. And that will lead us to step number 2, remove friction to make these actions simpler. I'm not a scientist at all, don't even understand physics, but the idea of friction is opposing forces on each other. It makes things harder to move. It makes setting habits and taking action harder when there are lots of steps in the process. So when we remove steps, it gets easier and simpler. One way that I can do this in the context of running and being in a funk is just lay out my clothes, my shoes, my watch ahead of time so that I don't have to think about it. I know that it's there for me. Doesn't mean that when I'm down, it's going to be any easier to tie the laces on those shoes, but I know that I won't have to go looking for the shoes because they're right there in front of me. It's just removing 1 or 2 of the layers from that process. All these steps are going to piggyback on each other, so hopefully they'll just snowball into an effective action action that might make it easier for you. Which leads us to step number 3, is just to simplify the process. It's kind of like taking the idea of removing the friction and thinking about it constructively in the environment that we live. Simplifying the process is, if I am tired, I'm exhausted, I'm not happy about myself or where I'm at, then trying to force yourself into doing something and failing at it isn't going to make yourself feel any better. Just simplifying the process actually gives you a little bit of a win ahead of time. It's like going for a layup instead of a 3-pointer. There's no reason to make it harder on yourself by complicating the process. Once I have removed the friction by laying out my clothes, having my shoes ready, maybe even having a bottle of mix prepared ahead of time, it is just getting out there on the road for a lap through my neighborhood. It's as simple as that. Sometimes it's all we have energy for, and that is good enough for that day. And after that, we take a look at step 4, which is to declutter your home and your mind. Did you hear that? I think I just heard Marie Kondo shouting from the top of a mountain somewhere. If you haven't read her book, Marie Kondo, Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It's like this big, it's tiny. If you haven't read it, you probably have seen her Netflix special. She's everywhere. It's a really simple concept, but it's a great lens to look through your life. If you're feeling down, oftentimes you can just feel cluttered, both in your mind and in your life. So I start to look at my life around me, my home. What does my space look like? If my home is cluttered, then that's going to directly affect how I feel in my home, in my space, to feel comfortable, to feel motivated to get up and to do something else. So just tidying up your home can be enough action to then motivate you to the next thing, which is, if you're like me, are the things that you are pushing off or not really feeling up to. Getting down to work and finishing that project that you knew you had to finish, or putting your shoes on and going out because you know it's going to be good for your mind and your body. And speaking of mind, you can take that tidying up of your home and tidy up your mind as well. There is a heaviness that comes with depression. I, for myself, don't make it easier by focusing on these big, weighty, heavy, challenging things that I can't do anything about right now. So in minimizing and simplifying and decluttering my mind from things that I either can't do anything about or can't do anything about right now, it frees my mind up to just focus on the here and now. Which leads us into our 5th and final step. 1% better is better than nothing at all. I don't know if you're anything like me, but oftentimes I get down on myself because I didn't accomplish this big list of things that I set out to do, or this giant project that I know I have to sit down and finish. Well, of course, when you look at it like that, it's only going to continue to spiral or cycle into these negative, depressive feelings. Just focusing on little marginal improvements, little steps that you can take to get better today is going to put me and you in a position to feel better tomorrow than you did yesterday. And that's really all it's about. So that over time, day after day, you can look back and feel better about where you are than where you were a week ago, or maybe not even a week ago. Simple 1% improvements. When it comes to my fitness and running and getting out there and feeling like, oh no, I haven't done my 10 miles today, just put your shoes on and walk to the end of the driveway or walk around the neighborhood. It's better than yesterday when you didn't run at all. And because you reinforce that habit, it's going to be easier tomorrow to put your shoes back on and go for a jog around the neighborhood or complete the training run that you know you want to do. So even though it might not seem like much, 1% incrementally over time really does add up, which brings with you the reinforcement of success, of positivity, of celebration. And that's what we're hoping to do, is to reinforce actions that we can celebrate. So there you have it. That is my 5 tips that I use to get out of a funk and put my shoes back on and head back out there. I hope that it's helpful for you wherever you are in life, whether you are looking to run a mile, run 100 miles. I mentioned some of the resources in this video, and I'll leave those in the comments below. There are all sorts of other great resources as well, and I encourage you to keep searching, keep digging. Don't stop where you are and feel like that's the end. Just keep at it. Know that those little incremental changes that you are doing for your own health and your own benefit will lead you to the top of a mountain one day. And then you'll look back and say, I don't know how I got here. Step by step, baby. Step by step. So there it is, your Motivation Monday. I hope it inspires you a little bit to take action where you need to. Thank you for dropping in and sharing your time with me. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Maybe even share it with others who you think might find it helpful as well. And as always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Helps me know who's tracking along with me on this journey. Please do continue along on my journey in ultra running and adventure travel. I wish you all the best. Happy trails, safe travels. Take care.